Hello and welcome. Hey look, I hate to start off on a sour note here, but man alive am I annoyed. Let me tell you why. Long story short is I've had chronic back pain for about 2 months now, and 3 weeks ago it reached a crescendo which nearly brought me to my knees. So I finally went and saw my doctor and he sent me off for a bunch of scans. The good news is all the scary, horrible things that nobody likes to think about have been ruled out. So what's left is muscular. The thing is, I can function more or less normally around the house, around the yard, but as soon as I get on a bike, whether it's flat bar or drop, or in fact start using my lawnmower, it just, the pain just comes out of nowhere and it's just terrible. So I've been off the bike for longer than I care to think about, and what really annoys me is that I feel like something has been stolen from me, which I greatly enjoy, which is, of course, cycling. The good news is it is getting better slowly, and I will be seeing a chiropractor soon. But until then, I'm not going to sit around and wait for something to happen. So I've been doing some yoga, and I dug out my 2020 Hyper Urban. Now, I bought this bike last year. It's the first one I ever had delivered to the house, in fact. So that unboxing was kind of fun. And I have upgraded the handlebars and the stem, but otherwise, it's completely stock. So, over the past week, I've been doing a bunch of short, easy rides. Not setting any records, nothing to write home about, but hey, at least I'm riding. The bike was originally equipped with a quill stem and a fairly narrow steel handlebar with a slight rise. I didn't measure it at the time, but I would say probably in the area of 550 to 600 millimeters sounds about right. Basically, it's typical of any bike under $200 that you get from Wal-Mart. Well, I got rid of that setup and instead I used a quill stem adapter, a Wake 45 millimeter stem, and a Wake 720 millimeter handlebar that I already owned. And that made a big difference in the riding position as well as the comfort level. I kept the Falcon Saker grip shifter because, hey, you know, it was working, so why fiddle with it? I know, hard to believe I said that. The brakes, front and rear, are Sparkle brand. They do the job and I have no complaints with them. This is the same brand that every hyperbike I've owned has, so I don't know, maybe it's a house brand or something? Moving right along, the rims and the hubs, front and rear, are unbranded. There's not really a lot that I can tell you about them. They're 700C. The tires, front and rear, are 700C by 35 Chow Yang with all-purpose treads. Again, nothing really fancy, but nothing to complain about either. The drivetrain is a pretty nice little 1x8 setup. The crankset is unbranded, but it has Neko alloy pedals, which are pretty good. I did remove the reflectors just because, you know, that's the kind of thing I do. It's got a 36 tooth chainring, which surprisingly is removable. Every once in a while, this bike throws a little surprise in, like a removable chainring. It's not narrow wide, so there's also a Falcon Saker chain guard. Out back, the mech consists of a Shimano Tourney TX derailleur. It's not top of the line, but neither is it bottom of the barrel. So, you know, it's about what you would expect for an entry-level bike. The gearing is a Sunrun 14 to 28 tooth freewheel. Again, a freewheel is not a big surprise at an entry-level bike. However, if you look where the derailleur is hooked on, here's another one of those surprises this bike occasionally throws out. It's got a replaceable derailleur hanger. It does not have a quick release, but it has a derailleur hanger. I don't quite know what to make of that. I just think it's an interesting little surprise. As I have seen on any other hyper bike that I've seen, the company goes out of their way to make sure that you know exactly what company built this bike and what model it is. The graphics are not subtle in the least. You know, great big block letters and contrasting colors. That said, I do kind of like this semi-gloss gray and the matte black scheme. Usually with a matte black bike, I don't care for those because it looks to me like somebody got to the primer stage of the finish and stopped what they were doing. If it were up to me, it would be a bright, shiny red bike. Last but not least, we come to the saddle. It is Snafu branded, which is, again, the case with many hyper bikes, and you can make of that name what you wish. The odd thing is, it may not look it, but that's a fairly comfortable saddle. I have come to appreciate that as I've been riding it the past week or so here, so again, a little bit of a surprise. So there you have it, my overview of my Hyper Urban. And you know, this back issue has been, if you pardon the expression, a real pain. This bike has been a godsend to me this past week. I tell you, I was going nuts not being able to ride. I miss my long road rides. I miss my mountain bike rides. I miss the people that I hang out with when I'm doing these things. It's just annoying to no end. So thanks for putting up with me. That's really great. And thanks for watching this video. As always, I do appreciate that. I really do. Below right is a link to the first video I did on the Hyper Urban. And below left is a link to another video which I think you'll enjoy. Goodbye. Have a great day.